Hey friends, Jonathan Neal Fitness here, and welcome to Myofascial Mondays. Each Monday I'm going to be giving you guys another video that's going to show you another spot, another location that tends to be a key point for enacting a technique that we call myofascial release. Now the real question is, what is myofascial release? Well, without getting too complex and too scientific and too in-depth, we'll just put it this way. Essentially, your body is made up of obviously a variety of tissues, but the one that connects everything, the one that runs through the whole body from head to toe, all the way in throughout like a web, is a tissue called fascia. Now this tissue has the ability to get kind of bound up, and very likely that all of us have felt this at some point or another. We've maybe felt someone push or massage up here, and you could feel those little, what they might call knots, or adhesions in the muscle, but it's really in the fascial tissue. So again, the real thing is that these things build up for a variety of reasons, and we could really get into all that, and maybe we'll get into that at some time. But for now, what's important is, what are we going to do about these adhesions? Well, first of all, it's important to know that these are things that we don't want to ignore. Because if we leave, let's say for instance, using our example of the upper trap here, if we leave adhesions or shortenings or tightenings or knots in the fascia, in the muscle here, that could lead to things that are very common, such as hiked up shoulders. Now that hiked up shoulders, not only is that going to put pressure on your neck, it's going to make your humerus move in very awkward ways, which when you're doing your exercises could lead to injury there. But in general, it also just leads to a sense of tightness and discomfort in your body. And none of these things are, of course, things that we want. We all want to feel good, we all want to move well. None of us, I think it's safe to say, none of us really want to get some kind of sports or exercise-related injury. So releasing these fascial adhesions is going to be critical to really allowing your body to feel good, move well, and avoid injury. So that being said, again, every week I'm going to be giving you another spot, and some of these things are going to use tools like I have a lacrosse ball, sometimes we'll go to a tennis ball, sometimes we'll use other things like this Theracane here that you can see. We won't get into that today. I want to keep it really simple so that you can experience this right where you are right now. So without any equipment, you can either use your thumb for this or 2 fingers for this. We're going to see if we can address a muscle that is very commonly tight. And that's going to be a muscle right here in the jaw called the masseter. Now perhaps you've even had tightness in your jaw and maybe even tension headaches. Not saying that this is necessarily going to fix all those problems, but this could be one of the root things that goes into you having that problem. And either way, we want to release these knots again so that we can just move better in general. So the technique of myofascial release is relatively simple. Of course, there's many different techniques, and you can go all over the internet and find all of them. I'm going to introduce you to the one that's the easiest and most effective that I've found. So basically all we're going to do is we're going to locate this little muscle called the masseter. Now what we want to make sure, of course, there's all kinds of structures around here. We don't want to be pushing on the teeth. What we really want is, if you go just in front of the ear here, you'll find that there's a little spot that if you move your jaw like this, you'll be able to feel that there's a muscle right here. And it really is the muscle that makes your jaw chew or go down and up, so to speak. So what we're trying to do is locate that soft tissue, not on the bones, not down here on the bone, not up here on the cheekbone or anything like that. We really want to be in that soft spot where we find the muscle itself, the actual masseter muscle. Now once we find that spot, we're going to just gently, by pushing and feeling, moving and pushing and feeling, until you find a spot that feels tender, or it might even feel, especially if you've never done this or you have a lot of tightness, it might even feel painful to a degree. Now what we don't want is something that feels like tearing or shooting pain. Really shouldn't have that with this one, but be mindful. It should be more of kind of a dull, almost a toothache kind of pain. What we might call a good pain. Like when your friend was massaging you up here on the shoulder, you might feel like, that kind of hurts, but please keep going because it also feels good. That's the kind of pain that we're really trying to feel, to get a good register, to make sure that we're actually on an adhesed or a bound spot of the fascia that we actually want to release. So what we'll do, and this is a very small muscle, it's really easy to find, so you can take that thumb like so, get in there, and then I'm just looking around for that spot. And then this is the real key, is that once we find that spot, we want to maintain not an extreme pressure, but a consistent pressure. So while I'm pressing into that spot, I might feel, again, it's pretty tender, so I'm just going to hold it there, and I'm going to hold it there. I'm going to resist the urge to move around or to get distracted, or, to just let it kind of like, very easy to get bored or impatient, but we want to just hold and hold and hold. Now what will happen is, if you can hold, and if you also, very important to breathe and to relax so that the muscle relaxes. If I'm holding this, but I'm doing this, then I'm not really going to get a release. The nervous system is going to freak out and won't let it release. So I want to hold it there, I want to breathe, I want to try to relax, maybe just try to chill out. And eventually what you're going to feel is that tissue, there's a couple things you might feel. You might feel it actually kind of spreading apart. You might feel like there's fluid entering, it's getting more hydrated, which is good, that's what we want. But sometimes it's not all that fancy or big of a feeling. Sometimes it's just that I'm pushing on this, it feels about an 8 out of 10 on the scale. When I pushed into it, I held it at that 8 out of 10 for a while, and then it kind of went down to like a 4, and then maybe even down lower than that. We want to feel a reduction in pain, an opening, or some kind of reaction before we actually release and take our hand or our tool off of the spot that we're working on. And so I wanted to show you that with this simple muscle, the masseter, because first of all, it could really be helpful. It could really even just help you just to release that one, but also just to introduce you to the concept, because this concept of holding that spot until it gets released, until it actually stops hurting, is going to be key throughout this entire myofascial release practice. So each Monday I'm going to show you a new spot, but you can always come back and reference this video if you feel like you need a little remembrance of exactly how we approach it and how we do it. Either way, I'm looking forward to giving you guys one of these videos every Monday. I really know in my heart, I know from experience and myself and others that it will help you, again, to feel better, to move better, and to avoid injury in the long run. So hopefully you can come along on this journey and really make use of this information. If you want to make sure that you get all those videos and get all the updates on that, you can go ahead and subscribe down below. And if you like this video and you like this kind of content, go ahead and click like. And if you think it could help someone else, please feel free to share it, as this information, this stuff is going to be good for anyone. So I appreciate you watching. Thanks so much. Have a wonderful day or night wherever you're at. And I'll see you next Monday for installation 2 on our Myofascial Mondays.